Hey there, I'm Xerax, and welcome to the couch, the streamer cam. You know, the thing we YouTubers use. The streamer cam is really cool, and I'm recording with it right now, or at least the stream mixer. By the way, this isn't the real streamer cam because you can't see it when you're recording with the stream mixer.
Oh my god.
But even though it already has a lot of cool features, I think we need more. You know, us content creators. We need much more customizability and things that just make it easier to use the streamer cam. So I made a list, and there's a total of 26 things that Rec Room needs to add to the streamer cam. Number 1, the streamer cam should have its own grid. You know, it's pretty difficult to set up a streamer cam. It's just a pain in the butt to get it straight, so I think a grid would really help a lot. You would get steady shots, and it would all just look really clean. Number 2 is the ability to change the streamer camera from smooth to instant. You know how the streamer camera always follows you around? Like it's floating behind you and not actually is like attached to your head, for example, when you're in third person. I think they should add that because if you haven't noticed, when you're actually in the stream mixer, you can actually see the streamer camera following your head without actually like being smooth, or at least in the selection. In the actual stream, you can see that it's following you around and it's all smooth. You can already do this with camera points, but you can't do this everywhere because you can't spawn in camera points in every single map. I'll come back to this later. Number 3, let people see what the camera sees. When you use the handheld, people can't really see what you're doing. They just see the streamer cam. There's just a black screen and it's like closed. And the reason why I think this should be a thing is because if people could grab the streamer cam, which is number 4 on the list, they could not just, you know, see what you're doing, but they could also help you record. For example, either you need a cameraman and you're recording the footage, which would ultimately be much easier than letting someone else record it and then they have to send you the footage or you have to download it off of YouTube or whatever you do. I think it would be much simpler. And you could toggle the feature, of course, so if you don't want people to grab your streamer camera, you can just turn it off and boom. Only you can grab it. Streamer cam skins. You know, not just the weekly skins that you would get for doing challenges, but also skins for YouTubers and for Twitch streamers. Number 6 is streamer cam effects. I'm talking about saturation, brightness, motion blur, that kind of stuff. I think that we should have a few effects on the streamer cam because maybe some people need the effects. They can't edit them into their footage, so I think it'd be pretty nice to at least have some kind of customizability with the image, what you're seeing. Number 7, a clamp feature for the streamer cam. I'm talking about the handheld one. Basically, you could turn on the clamp mode and you could attach the streamer cam to something. For example, a sniper, or maybe something like, I don't know, like a carousel, something. You could attach it to an object and it would stay there until you would remove it from the object. I think that'd be pretty cool. And of course, you could also make it so you can't grab the streamer camera unless you press a certain button or something, which I think would also be very helpful because there's a lot of misinputs. Add customizability to the position of your streamer camera. Of course, we already have an FOV slider and stuff, but I still would add something like this where you can change the XYZ values of the streamer camera. So for example, when you're in third person, you can change where the camera is, if it's directly behind you, or maybe it's to the side, maybe it's in front of you, or from down below a bird's perspective. You get the idea. Number 9, an infinite FOV slider. Basically, you know how there's only specific values of the levels that you can change the FOV? Well, basically, instead of having 20 to 120, I would go from 1 all the way up to maybe even 150. I don't know, maybe somebody wants even more FOV than just 120. Number 10, add bars for cinematic videos, films, movies. Maybe someone's gonna make a movie in Rec Room. I think that'd be pretty cool, and you could obviously customize it, so maybe it's a pretty thin one, or maybe it's thicker. You can decide. Number 11, you can see other people's POVs. This actually used to be a feature in Rec Room, but they took it out, probably because you could cheat with it. For example, you just play paintball and you know where the enemy is, so that makes sense. But what I would basically do is just give people the option to turn it off, so for example, a game creator that has like a PvP map could turn it off so people couldn't use it to cheat. Number 12, the automatic POV changer. At least this is what I would call it. Basically, you could set a specific amount of time when the stream mixer changes the POVs, so you don't have to do it yourself. Or you could make it so when somebody talks, specifically, like, let's say the guy in the corner starts talking, the camera changes to that guy's perspective. There's a streamer cam point, and then it just shows that. And so I think that would be very useful, for example, for montages maybe, or for podcasts. Number 13, more advanced flashlight features. We already have something like a flashlight, just a light with the streamer cam that like goes around the streamer cam, and I think that's really cool when you want to add a little bit of more of a scary feeling to your videos. Number 14, make the streamer camera invisible to others. A good example I can think about is BVR's stream, where he would basically just put a streamer cam in a rec center and you just see people doing stuff. And of course, people noticed the streamer camera at some point, and then everyone was just crowded around the streamer cam. So I think you could probably just hide it, which I think that's a pretty good feature. Number 15.
Burger King foot lettuce.
Adding streamer cam points through the mixer menu. Of course, now you're thinking, but why would you do that? You already have the handheld. But what if you need multiple camera points in a room where you can't spawn it in with the maker pen? You could probably spawn in like max like 3-4 cameras, and you could just change between the camera points. Another feature is aspect ratios. As we all know, some people like to make TikTok videos with their streamer cameras, and yet there's no way to change the aspect ratio unless you edit that in, or you hold the streamer camera like an idiot, like this, sideways. So obviously I would just add aspect ratios, a slider basically. Another thing I would add is a portable share screen. Obviously the share screen right now isn't really all that good since it has like 1 FPS. It isn't all that good, but when it actually gets like 30 to 60 FPS, like for example for us, when we made a thumbnail for one of my videos, we used a big share screen so everyone could see what the camera saw. And sure, as I already said, I have already had this in the list, but that was for the portable streamer cam. But what if a lot more people need to see it and they're pretty far away? They obviously can't see what the camera sees because they're really far away. So you could not just make a share screen, and you could maybe make it bigger depending on how much the game creator would allow. Number 18. A kill cam. If you get tagged by someone in paintball or laser tag, the camera would basically just fly over to the person and it would follow them for a couple of seconds until you respawn. I think this would be pretty cool, and if you need an example, it'd be basically like TF2's kill cam, where when you get killed, it just flies over to the person and stands still for a second, even though I wouldn't add the freezing thing. It'd just be constantly following the person. Number 19, potato mode. Basically just like turns the graphics down massively for the streamer cam. So the best example I can give is like the Quest camera, like the share camera for the Quest. The quality would be very low, maybe even a little pixelated, but you could still record from the camera if you really wanted to. And maybe this could then work with PSVR and Quest. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with PSVR and how they handle all the data that comes from games, and what I don't really know what goes on, but I know that there's some kind of issue with PSVR. For Quest, I could imagine it working because it would just save the video you recorded onto the device. Maybe you want to take the streamer cam with you and it's just very close to your face. Even with the FOV slider all the way up, you just don't like the streamer cam being very close, yet you still want to hold it. So I would add a selfie stick feature. All you would need to do is grab the streamer cam, and there's a little like nub on the bottom. You just press that and a long stick would start extending, coming out of the streamer cam, and you could just grab it and boom, now you have a selfie stick for your streamer cam. You can make it longer or shorter. There's like a little HUD on there. Next we have number 21. You can make your body invisible, transparent, or it would be like a hologram. This would be, for example, when you play something like paintball and the body gets in the way a lot, or maybe you want to be in third person and you want the people to see what is hidden behind your body, so you just make yourself transparent to the streamer camera. Basically like again in TF2 where you could change the view model into like a transparent view model. Number 22, a HUD for specific Rec Room original. So while you're in first person or third person, you would have a specific HUD. For example, for paintball, you would see how many flags have been captured, how many points the other team has, depending on which game mode you're playing. You would have yourself in the corner maybe, and you would also see what weapon you have. Maybe you would see how much HP you have on laser tag and all of that stuff. I think that'd be very useful, especially for something like more competitive stuff when somebody streams their POV, and I just think it'd be a pretty cool thing to see in live streams and stuff. 23 is also about HUDs, but this time it's for the more competitive stuff. I'm talking like you can see both teams score, who's in the team, maybe you can see the kill streaks or something from people, but this feature would only be available for refs. So when somebody's streaming one of the games, you could see a lot of information. You've probably seen this in like Rainbow Six Siege, that kind of stuff, basically. I think that'd be very helpful and would look really cool in streams. And the last feature is toggle names off and on in the stream mixer menu. It is very annoying that I have to go into the settings of the watch to actually change that and not just go into the stream mixer, because I think that it just makes more sense to put it in the stream mixer, since really now the only time I ever turn it off is because I want to record something with my streamer camera. So yeah, that was basically it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope these features were interesting, good, and stuff, because I was literally thinking for like an hour or two about all of these, if I wanted to include them or not, if they actually are useful or in some way cool. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.